Bhante Kusala said that a teacher is like fire. If you get too close, you might risk getting burnt. If you're too far away, you can't feel anything. Can you share what you think a good, wholesome relationship with a teacher is?
The Tibetans have that same slogan. Yeah. Yeah, the exact same thing. That's why I was laughing. But it's very true. Yeah, it's very true. What is a healthy relationship with your teacher? That is going to depend on the disciple. Okay. It's the disciple that creates how close the relationship is going to be and in what way the relationship is close. Yeah. So the teacher is not going to run after the disciple. Anyway, you don't have time to do that. Yeah. I mean, you run after, are you okay? Are you okay? You don't have time for that. So it's up for the students to really help create the relationship. So, what is a healthy relationship? I think that starts with the student checking out the qualities of the teacher. Okay. And so in the Sutra Alankara, it's one a Mahayana Sutra, it gives 10 qualities of a Mahayana teacher. In the Vinaya, it gives the qualities of a Vinaya teacher. In Tantra, it's the same thing. And if you look at volume 2 of the Library of Wisdom and Compassion, it's called The Foundation of Buddhist Practice. There's a whole section there on relating to the spiritual mentor, and it has these qualifications in it. But basically, and I think this is where there's a lot of confusion in the West about what a good relationship is and what are the qualifications. Because Westerners tend to, and I'm making a big generalization that does not apply to everybody, but we do tend to look for glitter. Okay? So, who sits on the highest seat? Who has the most disciples that follow along after them? Who is charismatic? This is the big one, kind of, we want a charismatic teacher. But in the list of qualities of a good teacher, charisma is not on the list. What is in the list? Keeping good sila, good ethical conduct, having training in concentration, okay, having an understanding of wisdom and the true nature. So right there, you have the 3 higher trainings. Yeah, and then somebody who has more knowledge than you, clearly, if you're going to take that person as a teacher. And then somebody who is compassionate, because as disciples, we can be quite obnoxious sometimes. And so you want a teacher who's not going to throw you out because you happen to get angry and say something rude or, completely diss them or who knows what. You need a teacher that is compassionate and who can try and train you and direct you. Okay. At the same time as the student is checking the teacher's qualifications, the teacher needs to check the student, and is this person somebody sincere? Or are they looking for glitter? Is this somebody who really wants to follow the path, or do they want to go straight directly to jhana meditation and develop single pointedness and skip all the preliminaries? Yeah. So you have to check out the student. What really is the student looking for? What is their motivation? Yeah. Do they have trust and faith in the 3 jewels? Will they listen to advice, or are they, quite defiant? And also, They talk about different qualities of a good student. Somebody who's intelligent, yeah, and in here, intelligent doesn't mean intelligent like in school. It means somebody who will listen and think about things. Yeah. So somebody who will investigate, who won't just take what the teacher says or even what the Buddha says uh, as without investigating it. Because the Buddha himself was very clear, that famous quote about don't, deal with my teachings or test my teachings the same way a goldsmith tests gold, by cutting and rubbing and so on. So in the same way, the students should be willing to really think about the teachings, yeah, and not just say, oh, the Buddha said so, I believe, or my teacher said so, I believe. uh, they need to participate. The student also needs to be receptive, so they need to be open-minded. If they're really dug into their own ideas, very difficult, yeah, because they're just dug into their own ideas. There's nothing much you can do except say good luck. uh, yeah, and I think they have to be really eager and earnest and sincere in learning the Dharma. In other words, they're not coming in because I want to become a Dharma teacher, or I want to be a translator, I want to be this. It's not, Dharma is not a career. It's not a career. We are students of the Dharma until we become Buddhas ourselves. So if somebody says, I want to be a teacher, well, wait a minute, how about being a student first? Yeah, and we never stop being students. Never, ever, until we become Buddhas. Then, okay. But until then, we're always the Buddha's disciples. So there has to be a willingness, a receptivity, a humility on the part of the student too. Yeah. As well as, an inquisitiveness that is willing to investigate and ask questions. Yeah. And really dig into the teachings and try to understand them on a deeper level. Okay. So that's the qualities of the teacher and the student. What is a good relationship? I think when there's honesty, yeah, when the student is not trying to hide anything from their teacher or put on a big front of, I am the ideal student, I fulfill all the qualifications, I am so sincere, I want to be your favorite student, and kind of the people who want to be like groupies. Yeah. So, having that attitude does not create a good relationship with your teacher. Yeah. Thinking that your teacher is going to be the parent that you never had and give you the love and attention that you always wanted from your parents, that also is not going to happen. Okay, don't expect that. Your teacher is there to teach you the Dharma. Yeah, they're not a parent in disguise or a partner in disguise. And from the teacher also, they shouldn't depend on the students praising them and giving them gifts, so the teacher can feel, oh, I'm such a good teacher. Look, here are all the letters my students wrote me telling how much they appreciated the teachings and how wonderful I am. So, the teacher should not use the students to boost their own ego and to remedy their own feelings of not being good enough. So the teacher needs to be honest too. And, when you don't know the answer to something, you say, I don't know. You don't humiliate somebody. You don't, make it look like the question was stupid. If you don't know, you say you don't know. So that kind of honesty, and then the student's honesty about what's going on inside of them. I think all of this is quite important for a healthy relationship, without either one of them trying to get their emotional needs from the other one, or either one of them trying to meet the emotional needs of the other one. Yeah, because that's when things can get really sticky, gooey. Yeah. Okay. And especially if you and your teacher come from different cultures, there's a real cultural thing that you have to understand. And as Westerners, when we have Asian teachers, we can't expect them to to conform to all of our specific Western ways of thinking and Western values. Just for example, okay, sometimes we approach teachers kind of thinking they're going to be our therapist. And so, or you say, oh, well, she said, be really honest. So I'm going to go to my teacher and I'm going to tell them my whole story, my childhood traumas, my adult traumas, all my unmet needs. And I'm going to tell them the whole story. Well, if you have a Tibetan teacher, yeah, when I was beginning the Dharma, I went to my teacher and I thought he would be really interested in my story, So I thought I should tell him my story. And he was totally bored, changed the topic. Yeah. And, whenever I came to him, not actually crying, but in my mind, like, oh, I don't feel qualified. I don't feel good enough, wanting, some affirmation about how good I was for my teacher. I would say something and then he would look at me and he would go, then? Then? Well, that shut me up. But what it did is it made me ask, well, what am I really expecting? Is my self-esteem supposed to come from my teacher? Or is it going to come from me feeling comfortable in my own skin, me holding good ethical conduct? Yeah, me being able to evaluate myself realistically, see my faults, recognize my good qualities, not get discouraged because of my faults, and not get conceited because of my good qualities. That whole thing is dependent on me doing the work, and really understanding the Dharma. And then from there, you can, it clears away so much garbage, I think, to having a really good relationship with your teacher. And I think an ability to laugh at ourselves is very important too.